The invasion of Poland in 1939 was always being regarded as the kick-off of World War II in the European theatre. However, it is generally forgotten that the Soviet Union also took part in the invasion after backstabbing Poland 16 days after Germany launched their invasion. In this episode, we would like to discuss why Poland was invaded by two superpowers and the reason for losing so quickly. The roots of the invasion can be dated back to 1795, when Russia, Prussia, and Austria split up the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. Since then, Poland was no longer an existing state, but the Polish language, culture, and its race remained. After World War I, the Treaty of Versailles granted the right to the Polish people to re-establish a sovereignty state, and also granted a corridor to Poland to access the Baltic Sea. However, this move angered the Germans, as much of their soil would be lost to the newly re-established state. And in addition to that, East Prussia would be separated from Germany's mainland. While previously German-owned, German-populated and German-speaking city of Danzig would be converted to a semi-autonomous region, greatly undermining the economic development of these regions. On the other hand, the Russian Romanov Empire collapsed after the Great War, and Russia was greatly weakened in the Civil War. As we have mentioned before, Poland and Lithuania were one single nation before 1795. However, Poland in the 1920s shrank by at least one-third compared to their status as a commonwealth. In 1919, the Poles decided to take the advantage that the Bolsheviks were engaged in the Tsarist White Army, launching an invasion on communist Ukraine and Belarus. The Polish army had tremendous progress in the early stage of the war, but the Red Army had completely beaten the Whites in 1920 and could focus on Poland. It took less than 2 months for the Russians to turn the table and pushed the Poles all the way back to Warsaw. Fortunately for the Poles, the Red Army lost the battle near Warsaw, and Russia was forced to sign the Treaty of Riga under mediation from Britain and France. Poland once again took a handful of land from Soviet Ukraine and Belarus, including Lviv, or what they call Lvov. The establishment of Poland and its aggression on recovering its land in the old days planted the seeds of hatred of Poland in both Germany and the Russian Soviet Federative Socialist Republic, which constituted the later-day Soviet Union. However, there was a drastic change in Germany after Adolf Hitler gained power. The Nazi Party was extremely hostile against communism, causing the German-Russian relationship to deteriorate. Meanwhile, the Führer decided to mend its broken relationship with Poland, offering an extension of the Non-Aggression Pact for 25 years and to recognize Poland's territorial integrity. In return, Germany wanted back the free city of Danzig and to build highways between mainland Germany and East Prussia. Besides, Hitler persuaded Poland to join his anti-communist pact, which was later known as the Axis power. Poland refused to accept the invitation to the pact, as they believed that this might turn them into a satellite state of Germany. Instead, they phone-called Britain and France, and were assured that military assistance will be provided if Poland is being invaded in the future. On the other hand, the refusal of invitation triggered the Führer to repair his relationship with Stalin, as Stalin eagerly wanted peace with Germany due to his greatly weakened military strength after the mass execution of commanders in the Great Purge. Very quickly, a non-aggression pact was granted, which included one very important secret term: that Germany and the Soviet Union will divide Poland among themselves. On 29th of August 1939, Hitler issued a final ultimatum on Poland with even harsher terms. On top of building highways between East Prussia and the mainland, Hitler added that Poland must give up their access to the Baltic Sea. It was of course being ignored, and therefore Hitler decided to launch a blitzkrieg 3 days later. The Polish army was outnumbered and was overwhelmed by the Wehrmacht and Luftwaffe. 2 weeks later, the Red Army joined and backstabbed Poland. Poland held it for slightly more than 1 month against two superpowers, while France attacked Germany's Siegfried lines near the Maginot Line. However, the French government limited the scale of operation to avoid escalation of tensions between France and Germany. This 7-month-long period before Germany truly invaded France was therefore commonly known as the Phony War. But why did Poland surrender so quickly? The main reasons are that they were outnumbered by Germany. More than 2,000 planes from the Luftwaffe took part in airstrikes, but Poland only had less than 400 planes to return fire. The flat terrain of Poland also favored German panzers to swamp in, and of course once again, Poland didn't have enough tanks to defend and counterattack. Meanwhile, being backstabbed by the Soviet Union meant that they had to fight a two-front war with very limited military capability. The defenses were scattered and weakened, making it easier for Germany and the USSR. Finally, we would like to talk more about Poland's Eastern Front. The Polish forces on the Eastern Front were ordered not to confront the Red Army head-to-head. More than 200,000 Poles surrendered to the Russians and were kept in captivity as POWs. However, Stalin ordered the NKVD, or later day KGB, to execute Polish military commanders and intellectuals, probably out of revenge of the Treaty of Riga, or to alleviate the pressure of keeping vast numbers of POWs. Massacres took place in Katyn and Kharkiv, while more than 20,000 Poles were estimated to be killed throughout the campaign, which was ironically being publicly known after mass graves were discovered by Nazi Germany in 1943. Thank you very much for watching. Remember to hit the subscribe button on the screen and share this video to your friends.